We've been in this house for about 20 years, and when we had our kids coming through here, and the kitchen was just kind of outdated. It didn't serve the purposes. We were kind of changing what we were looking for. We had a bigger area over there, and we wanted to fix that. The lighting was terrible, and all of the appliances were starting to fall apart. So we just started to look at it and said, let's take another look at the whole kitchen idea. I didn't want somebody that would have a bunch of other subcontractors that they didn't know, and it's like, okay, well, I have to get this. I wanted someone that could do the whole job, and somebody that had been in business for a long time, somebody that was really had a great attention to detail, somebody that I could trust with my house and with my project, because I knew it was going to cost a lot. When Nathan came into the house, he was probably the one that did the most different thing out of everyone else. He walked in the front door and he looked at everything in the living room and all the way through the dining room. I mean, it was like he was just taking everything in, the ambience of our home. And when we sat down at the kitchen table to talk about the deal, and we got down into the details of this is what I'm looking for, he came back immediately and he says, well, here's what I envision. Part of it, we want to bring in the rest of the house into the kitchen. Bring in the crown moldings, bring in the bigger woodwork, bring in the Asian look. So he caught all the details in his little 5-second walk through our house of what it was that we were about. The memory wall is probably the biggest thing. For me, that was the wow factor. It was a blank wall before. It had a cork board. The radiator cover was sticking out into the room, and it was pretty hideous looking. So this was the one that I wanted all the contractors to take a look at and figure out something that was different. And this is really the only wall that we moved. We pushed it back about 6 inches so we could bury the radiator into the wall. And Joe, working with me and my wife, came up with this idea because he got the ideas. We needed pictures, we needed a place to put some of our things, and this has all of the different places, artifacts that we've gotten from our travels, which is why we call it the memory wall. So really what we did here, we pushed these cabinets back. This was all one solid wall before. We had soffits up here around the whole kitchen. We took the soffits out and we wanted this to be a little bit more elegant, with almost like a serving place. But we had stained glass windows here before, and we wanted stained glass windows again. So we went to Studio One. He designed these for us based on our idea and put that together. And then we bought this antique cabinet to put in here to bring in the Asian influence, which we have in our house throughout. One of the things that we really wanted was more lighting. We used to have 16 fluorescent bulbs in this kitchen, and it's a terrible lighting system. So we wanted to have really a unique lighting pattern that we could adjust based on our moods, based on the mood of what we were doing, if we were having a party or just coming in here. So we have all under cabinet lighting, which are operated by switches, so you don't have to reach underneath the cabinet to turn them on and off. We have the pendant lighting. We have the can lighting up in the ceiling, 4-inch can lighting. And then we have the lighting over the memory wall and the lighting in the behind the stained glass windows. And they're all on separate switches. I think we put in something like 26 different lights. They're all on separate switches and they're all on dimmers. And it really allows us to give a lot of different moods to the kitchen itself. We can use them for really dim lighting for something a little bit more romantic, or really bright if you really want the lighting over the countertops. What we did, we incorporated the stainless steel appliances throughout to kind of tie everything together. We brought in this really cool granite. It has a kind of a leathered finish because we didn't like the real shiny finish that we might have some maintenance problems with. We had this really weird spot here, so we put in this built-in spice rack, which just takes up a space. Ultimately, when we were doing this, we wanted to keep this window, and we had to replace the window, put in a new one, but we cleared it off. We had shelves and all sorts of things here. Cleaning it up, we took everything out, took the moldings that were around it, and just really opened it up for us. We had to move the stove. We had the stove, it was in the middle here, and we moved it over here because of the vent, which was a requirement. We needed a vent going outside, so we moved the stove to this side, and then moved the microwave, which was over there, to over here, which kind of made everything a little bit more compact for us. It was all in one spot, and then we ended up putting our pots and pans into the island here. And then one of the biggest things that we did here, both here and on the memory wall, is we hid the radiators. Radiators are a great source of heat, but they're not a very attractive looking unit. So we hid it behind some cabinets, which S.J. Janus matched to other cabinets that we had. We had radiator covers in the living room and dining room, and they matched that to it. And I think one of the final things that was really brought in is the woodwork, the crown molding, the large woodwork on the floorboards, the woodwork around the windows. It all matches the rest of the house. It's all tied in together. And I think the biggest compliment that we get from people is they walk into the kitchen and says, "This looks like it's been here forever." Truly, the entire process that we went through with S.J. Janus, really from start to finish, was a pretty exceptional process. It went as smoothly as you can expect a project of this size to go, and the end result was more probably than what we would have expected. It's an exceptional job. Sean did a great job. Gary, the owner of S.J. Janus, was in here. He made some decisions that were at his cost that were really exceptionally attention to detail when he did some of those things. Nathan's been great. Everyone has really worked together on the project. We really felt like we were getting the detail, the constant attention that would be required to do a project and end up with the results that we have.